Welcome to KSL Sports Rewind, the 5A Football Award Show, as always presented by our good friends at Heidemann Associates.
That's right. Just a reminder, if you have any legal needs, the experts at Heidemann Associates will take care of you, and they're a flat fee service. They're not going to bill you for a ton of hours where you're like, what did you do, send an email? No, they're going to take care of you, make sure that all your legal needs are met. For a free consultation, just give them a call, 801-472-7742, and tell them that Rewind sent you.
Absolutely. Or go to utah.law, find law office nearest you. We want to thank all of our sponsors from football season, because there is a lot, and they all jumped in and they all helped us. We want to thank Advanced Windows. They were terrific. Jumped in early in the year. Odeon Menswear, or formerly known as Modern Missionary. Terrific. We want to thank Braden Day. He was terrific for us. Now, the real MVP of the Igloo Outfitters changed our life forever.
It made November a lot easier, I'll tell you that.
Oh, man, it made Rice Eccles so much easier.
Yes, it did.
So much easier. But Igloo Outfitters, IGLUoutfitters.com. If you are a hockey mom, I didn't know, should we say indoor sports?
It's
hockey
cold.
moms.
Yeah, you're going to want an Igloo.
They put a video on their Instagram, and I saw that. I was like, yep, we got to make sure we start pushing that.
Yep.
But Igloo Outfitters are absolutely spectacular. And, of course, Vessel made our pre, half, and post-game shows possible as well. So I want to thank Vessel. It's all through the year. You want to get your shipping better if you're running an online store. Vessel, VESYL.com will help you. Using Boulder Bag saved us a bunch of money to go through Vessel. All right, let's go to let's not waste any time. Let's jump right into this. Our 5A Offensive Player of the Year. All right, here with our 5A Offensive Player of the Year, Helaman Kasunga, the quarterback of the Tiffy Thunderbirds. And in Helaman, man, it's been just about a month, well, actually almost a month to the day of when you guys won the state championship. How does that feel a month later that you are the quarterback at the end of the drought?
It's a blessing. I mean, some days I forget about it, and then some days I'm like, wow, we really won state. So it's super cool. I mean, I was able to get a break just for a little bit, but I'm back on the grind now.
You know, Helaman, I'm curious. Last year, you were kind of a shared starter and then took the job midway through the year. It was kind of you the rest of the way. You make that deep run, you come up just short in the state championship. How much did that propel you and the rest of the team this year to get the job done?
I think it was just a great motivator. I mean, our coach always mentioned it in the weight room. Was like, remember what happened last year. So we just kind of came into this year saying, like, this isn't happening again.
So help us understand the mindset. I mean, most people will forget that you're a sophomore, right? Can go into your junior and senior year. What is it about you that's going to keep you grinding and going to reach your full potential?
I think just having that mindset of just, I want to be better and better myself and better the people around me. So I think that's just the motivator for the next 2 years.
You know, Helaman would be curious. I mean, obviously, TipView has been a program with a lot of power and consistently making deep playoff runs. Has been a while since they won a state championship, but what's it been like being the quarterback at TipView, a program that's got such prestige and such a brand?
It's an honor. I mean, now, like, if you look outside of, like, TipView, it's just kind of cool that, like, TipView's up there. And so just having that type of profile is super cool.
I mean, it's a long list of quarterbacks. Brett Ingeman, Britton Covey. I know Britton was involved at one point in the program. Have you heard from Britton? Just curious.
Yeah, he actually came out to one of our summer practices and talked to us as a team, so it was cool.
You're not going to start returning punts, are you?
No. I'm not that fast. Tell us
a little about what it's like to play for Coach Donnie Ottawaya. I mean, this is a guy, that former Division I football player and all that kind of stuff. But what's it like to play for Coach Donnie? Because obviously, Coach Stokes was your OC last year. But what's it like to play for Donnie?
Donnie, he's a great coach. He was able to communicate to me a lot, making sure I understand what the game plan is and making sure I'm prepared for the next week.
Helaman, I think you threw for over 4,000 yards this year, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Target 5, 6? Like, what's going to be the target for you? You still got 2 more years to go.
I think I'm going to try to, at least for the next 2 years, my goal is just to break the state record, and Isaac Wilson was able to break it this past year, so it's a great goal of mine to be not only a great competitor, but a friend too.
Absolutely. Well, Helaman, we're excited to see you for the next 2 years. There's a long line of Utah quarterbacks, and one day we'll share them all with you. It's a good line because it started in 2005 when the record was broken by James Lark, Riley Nelson, and Alex Cate. And it's been shattered since then. So we're super excited to watch what you're going to do in the next couple of years.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Our 2023 5A Offensive Player of the Year, Helaman Kasunga. When we look at the 5A Offensive Player of the Year, I mean, it is Helaman Kasunga. There's other guys that are certainly in the running.
Yeah.
But there's no way to do this award and not have it be Helaman Kasunga.
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at what he did for Timpview this year, and obviously, you think of his experience from his freshman year and how that related to his success in his sophomore year. But Timpview able to get over the hurdle and really, they graduated so many guys last year, and it put so much pressure on Helaman, and yet he delivered in prime moments and key moments for his group. And still opportunities for him to learn and grow. But man, I mean, what a year for Helaman, and capping it off with a state championship was phenomenal to help take Timpview back to the top of 5A.
Yeah, it was a spectacular year, and just crazy to think he's only a sophomore.
I know,
it just
right?
blows my mind.
I didn't ask him, but I'm like, what's your target for your career passing yards?
Right.
I mean, it can set
10,000?
Easy. He's over halfway there.
Okay, fine.
No, but that's my point. I mean, that's my point. It's like, I mean, and I tease about the question of what's your goal for next year, but
I can't remember where Austin is. We have to look and see where Austin defense is. Total yardage. I don't know if you're gonna get
I don't know if you'll get total, but passing. Yeah, I think it's doable.
Yeah, you'd be right there. But congratulations to our 2023 5A Offensive Player of the Year, Helaman Kasunga. So from the offensive side, we look at the defensive side. And Dane, this is an interesting one because where we had to go with it. Very fun.
Yeah.
This is probably one of the tougher ones we had because there was so many different ways we could go with it. But let's go to our 5A Defensive Player of the Year. Look, Papa Matalau, I mean, we're trying to decide what are we going to do. There you have the Alta boys. Now, granted, will depend on where you got the stats on it.
Yep.
The total to 37 sacks between two players. But two different places we couldn't confirm the numbers and make sure we're right. But Papa Matalau by himself, 21 and a half sacks on that East defense.
Yeah, and I mean, I know East in terms of the record, not the record that we've been accustomed to seeing from East over the past decade plus, but that defense was really stout.
And Papa was the last one probably there.
Yeah, and Papa led the way for that defense. You talk about 20 plus sacks on the year, but even when we looked at, because we even looked at team defense, and that East team, the defensive numbers were a lot more impressive across the board. And you think of all the games they were in, they lose to Brighton, heartbreak play at the end. There were several of those this year where they're right in it and didn't have enough to get over it, but man, that defense kept them in a lot of games, and the pressure Papa instilled on opposing offenses was it was felt all year. And so very deserving for Matalau to be our 5A Defensive Player of the Year.
Absolutely spectacular. Congratulations to Papa Matalau of being our 5A Defensive Player of the Year. All right, from defense, let's go to the guy who does a little bit of both. How about our 5A Mr. Two-Way? We could give him Defensive Player of the Year. We could give him Offensive Player of the Year. We could just call it all hard, anything else. But Falatau Satawala, Mr. Two-Way. You and Davis Andrews are the two Mr. Two-Ways. And I don't think there's two guys that exemplify Mr. Two-Way because your impact on defense, what you do on the offensive side of the ball is spectacular. Obviously, you're looking at being a defensive player going forward, but where do you take the most pride when you're on the field?
I would say at Bountiful, we really took pride on defense. That was just like our whole motto.
Coach Freck says you can't say offense, right?
I think just the last couple of years, though, we've been trying to really build our defense because we haven't really had an explosive offense until this year. Everything started to pick up a little more, but the last couple of years, we've just been building our defense, and we had a couple core players this year who really we had to put on defense, and that was our biggest part of our games just because we knew we weren't going to have some crazy offense this year, but it surprised me how good our offense was this year and how everyone stepped up this year with Emerson and Siaki.
Yeah.
They really helped out, so yeah.
Well, I was going to ask. So I heard a story just talking with Coach Freck and the staff. When were you like, oh, this Siaki kid, he's got himself some talent?
I'd say the first time it was really big was our Cedar Valley game going into playoffs. I think we were expecting it to be a little tough for us, and we had to win a couple games, but he really showed up, and it was cool because every week in practice, he would be on scout team, and we had a really good defense, and somehow he's just torching our defense every time. he would even run routes out of the backfield and somehow always open, so he would surprise me in practice the most. That's when I really started noticing.
We heard something about new shoes. Is that a legit story?
Yeah, so
now that we're making this about him, I got to know the story though.
Oh yeah, all season he had these old cleats he wore them probably the last couple of years, and then right before the playoffs he got some nice new cleats, and I think it gave him a little confidence. He came in telling everyone he got new cleats and showing everyone, and then that day it was crazy. He probably rushed for 500 yards in practice. It was insane. So I think the cleats helped him. Yeah.
Yeah, PF Flyers, man. You got those. Tell me about this run in the state tournament. You and I spoke right at the beginning because I'm doing Red Zone. I wanted to know kind of your thoughts going into it, and how special and magical did this run feel for you, getting all the way to the state championship game?
It was really special, actually. I think from the beginning of the year, everyone was saying that we're going to be state champs this year, and everyone wanted to go all the way. But after our first couple games, we went 2-3, and the hard one was Bonneville. That's when everyone seemed to be really down, and nobody expected anything big to come from this season. But that was kind of our turning point. Was those next couple games we kind of had to figure out who we were, and going into Box Elder, that was right when everything flipped, and we realized like we really have a shot to put something special together. Then every game, I think, even in the playoffs, like it would get close, and we just had a little more heart and a little more want, and it was so special just to see our team come alive and all the kids just playing without anything left on the field. It was special, yeah.
You talked about a little more want. One of the other stories that we heard this year was playoffs on the road at Springville, and you guys get the touchdown. And I understand there was a discussion on the sideline around whether to kick it or go for two, and I was told that it was this guy right here who was telling the staff, we're going to go win it. Talk about the confidence of that play and what, I guess, you being the one trying to consult your coach in that moment, what were you thinking and what gave you the confidence to help Coach Freck feel like, yeah, these guys, we're going to go roll it?
Yeah, so that Wednesday before the game, we put this new play in. We've been going into this jumbo formation and just handing the ball off up the middle every single time we went into it, but we added this new little fake and then a boot, and I would crack down and run a little corner route, and we added it on Wednesday and ran it like 4 times, and our defense our scout team couldn't even keep with it or anything. And then so we got into the game, and towards the end of the game when we had that touchdown driving down to put it into overtime, our D coordinator was telling us to go for 2, and Freck was like, no, let's just take it to overtime. Our defense will make a stop. And so we went to overtime, and they ended up scoring, which I think really surprised Freck. And then so we knew we had to go down and score, and we get down there and punch it in, and then we all come to the sideline, and we all huddle up, and Freck's like asking everyone, is our defense going to make a stop? Like, are you guys ready for this? And it's just silent, and nobody said anything, and everyone seemed a little like timid, a little scared. But I just like looked Freck in the eyes and I said, let's go for it. Like, we have nothing to lose. I think this is our biggest chance. And I was screaming, let's run the boot. And so and then it started getting our quarterback Emerson, and he heard me say that, and he really wanted to run it too. So we went out there, and it was the craziest fake. Like, our whole sideline said that they all thought Siaki got the ball, and we turn and see Emerson just in the corner holding the ball up, and it was the coolest thing ever. Just knew we were going to Ricicles. That was also one of our biggest goals the whole season, was to make it to Ricicles, so it was really special.
Yeah, I mean, and then you get to Ricicles Stadium and you make a statement, man. You have the game-winning touchdown catch against Alta. Which touchdown would you want more, the Alta catch or the "you're not going to stop me" touchdown at the end of the championship game? It gives you a shot to tie that thing up to go to overtime. I know which one's my favorite, but I'm not you.
Me personally, for me, I would say the one at the end of the state championship. I liked a little more just because it was like, I'm not done yet. We're still gonna fight, but the Alta one was really special for our team. It made me really proud just to be the one who gave our team like the goal we had all year to make it all the way to the state championship, and just to be that guy who, being a team captain and stuff, I really felt like I need to do something for our team to make it all the way. And so to be that guy to push our team to the state championship and have us like go all the way, really was special.
Yeah, I was in the back of the end zone on that one in the championship game. That's why I brought that up. Like, you got that ball, and I was like, this kid is not going to get this. Like, yeah. I could see it. That's exactly what I said on the broadcast. I was like, there's no way they were stopping 11 from getting in the end zone. I love that. That's why I brought that up, because that was probably my favorite of the two, just because you just saw the want to, like that drive of that kid. Like, if you're going to encapsulate for any recruiting, not that you need the help, in one play, it's like, that's the kid. This is who he is. You're not going to stop him. So I'm glad you picked that one too. What's
it like to play for Coach Freck? You've talked about him a couple times. Obviously, listens to his players. But what is it like to play for Coach Jason Freckleton?
It's been amazing. He's really like grown over the last couple of years, and he's been there for all the players. Starting out, he was a little like I would say maybe a little shy to kind of get to know the players and be a little more personal with the players. He's more just like a football first coach, but then throughout the last 2 years, I think he really has changed a lot with just becoming really close with the players and trying to help them as people and make them better as people, which I think is really cool in a coach. And I really like being under Freckleton. He helped me get to where I was, so it means a lot.
Now you're in the basketball season. Your little sister already has a ring, right? As a freshman, for heaven's sakes. Now you're in the basketball season. How much are you trying to take the football experience and put it in the basketball court? And how much you fight to get your own ring, too, so you can match it up with little sis?
Yeah, I think that's what my older sister and little sister are always just telling me, how they both have rings, and I haven't got one yet. So I really was hoping to get one in football, but it's always fun to go out and compete. So with basketball, I just go out and try to be part of the team and help them. We got some really special players in basketball, so I think we have a chance to go a really long way. Hopefully we can start to put everything together and everyone will fit together nicely and we can make a really good run this year.
I know this is a football show, but I got to ask this question, though. Scare on the sideline when you make a mistake. Coach Freck or Gus?
I don't know. I really like the way they both coach. Like, I wouldn't say I'm scared. I think it's really good just for them to be trying to help us fix our mistakes. And I don't ever really take it too personal. I know they're just want what's best for the team, and they're always both just trying to help the team and help you get better as a player and person. So I wouldn't say it's too scary.
After his football career is done, he's going to be a politician. That was a very good job.
Navigated that very well.
Yeah,
Very
absolutely.
well.
Yeah, that was good. Well, Falatau, congratulations on an outstanding year. There was no other way we could have a 5A award show, making sure you're part of it, and thought this is the best way we could do it. Our 2023 5A Mr. Two-Way, Falatau Satawala. There is no one that exemplifies this more than the two guys we gave it to. I mean, Davis Andrews and Falatau Satawala, they would be Defensive Player of the Years if they weren't so impactful on the offensive side of the football.
Yeah, and the thing I love about just talking with Falatau on that one is, I mean, I didn't grow up a Utah or BYU fan, but I am clamoring for him to sign with my program.
Yeah, plenty of both.
I mean, you see his leadership and you see the way he carries himself, and even the stories we talked about with him, things that we had heard about them, during the playoffs. And I mean, I just love his confidence and yet his balance of humility too, right? And his drive, his passion. You talked about that catching the state championship game, and even he affirmed it, like, no, we're not done. Right. And, there's other stories we could share of things that we've heard about him off the air, and just such an impressive young man. And then to look at his performance on the field, and you got to remember, he's paired up with another great safety in Tidwell, and he still had super impressive interception numbers, roamed that secondary for this bountiful defense, and obviously offensively, their prime target in the passing game. So electric player, very versatile, impacts every aspect of the game, and absolutely loved his leadership in helping to take Bountiful to a state championship game.
Oh, certainly. And then we talked about that state championship game. He drove that whole thing.
Yep.
I didn't say it's in front of him, but the touchdown was amazing. Even the fourth down play that ended the game, when he caught that ball, I was like, he's getting it.
Yeah.
I was shocked when he didn't get it, because that's how driven that kid was to help his team, not him.
Yep.
His play speaks for itself. His demeanor pulls his team along. And that's, I mean, I don't know what else you want. That's a dream player.
That's hard to find. Right. Yeah.
He doesn't want the clout. He's just willing to go do it.
Yeah.
Just absolutely spectacular. He's such an impressive young man.
Yeah.
And, very fitting to be Mr. Two-Way.
Yep.
And he'll be a politician, so I guess he'd be Mr. Three-Way. So he's so good. Let's go from our Mr. Two-Way award to our 5A Most Unheralded Player of the Year.
All right. Here with our 5A Most Unheralded Player, Chase Mosley. Congratulations on being our most unheralded player.
Sweet. Thank you so much.
So, Chase, we're kind of catching you blindside with this. We like to do that to surprise kids, but want to talk about Olympus this year. Right before the season started, Coach Whitehead took another position. Coach Burt steps in. What was that like, being an experienced player in this Olympus Titan squad and having such a late coaching change before the season started?
Yeah, so I was actually in the Dominican Republic on a humanitarian trip when the news came out. So I didn't find out for an extra 2 weeks, but I came back and I looked at my phone and I had like 300 texts about Coach Whitehead is gone. Who's going to coach? And I love Coach Whitehead. He's a great man. He did a lot for our program. And we were going into that summer, end of summer, and we were just kind of ready to get going with Coach Burt. When Coach Burt was announced to be the interim head coach, everybody was on board. Everybody knew it was the perfect choice for us as a team, especially as seniors, because we'd already had developed this new offense in a couple months, and we didn't want to have to go through all that again. And Coach Burt did a tremendous job with just rallying us, and we had the utmost trust and respect towards Coach Burt, and we knew that he could get us going. And this new offense that we had learned so quickly, we just knew that we could be dangerous. And so I think there couldn't have been a better choice for Coach Burt for this team, and he's going to do great there for years to come. So.
Well, talk about this new offense, because, I mean, coming in, obviously, Coach Whitehead under center, we're running the football, play good defense. You guys were wide open this year. You threw for almost 3,200 yards, 32 touchdowns, only 8 interceptions. A pretty drastic change for Olympus offensively. What was that like? And you talk about everyone was on board, but what was that transition like for the offense this year?
Yeah, so we, from under center, I feel like we had the athletes to do anything. We could have gone under center. We could have gone to the spread like we did. But I feel like the spread was what mostly impacted our athletes and had like the opportunity to get them the ball in space with like Ty Siegel, Caden Lloyd, Nash Taylor, Tommy Nelson, Nick Brown, and Luke Bryan, of course. But you had athletes everywhere. And so it wasn't a matter of like making this whole new offense and taking it in and just making it like a whole new thing, because at the end of the day, we have athletes, and we could have done it with the wing T, but I'm very happy that we didn't, because it made me look better, even though my teammates were the ones that were doing all the work. I was just throwing the ball.
Well, it was a dynamic offense, no doubt, right? And you talk about all the kids that helped contribute, all your teammates that made it so electric this year. That offense helped you guys to get to a semifinal. Gave Tippy one of the closest games they had all year. What was it like to get back to a semifinal, place this program hadn't been for several years?
Yeah, so the last time we went to the semifinals, my dad was actually coaching for the staff, and I was like up at the very, very top. I was looking down. I was like, this is where I want to be when I'm a senior. I want to play on this stage. It was an awesome atmosphere, and I was so happy that our team could finally get to see that. I knew that we were locked in, and I knew that we had the potential to win that game, and I think every single person on our team was confident, and that was what really put us in that mindset, is we're not going to lose. And although we did, I was so proud of our team, so proud of our coaches, the effort we gave week in and week out with such a hard schedule, the best region, in my opinion, in the state, and we lost by a total of 8 points through 4 games that we lost. So that just serves to a commitment of our team and the grit that we had throughout the entire season.
When you look back, you're going to graduate this year. When you look back on your career, be that this year or prior year, what are you going to take away? What's that moment for you that you always remember as you embark on the rest of your life?
Yeah, I'll remember tons of moments. Obviously, I'll remember my coaches and my teammates, because they're just amazing, and I couldn't have done it without any of them. But I think the moment I'll remember the most is just after we won that Alta game in quadruple overtime, just everybody was so happy, and that's just kind of when everybody was like, we're really good. And that's finally when we felt like we gained respect from the rest of the people in the state, and we finally were playing to the potential that we had. And I remember after that game, I was so happy. I went up to my dad, and we were just hugging each other, and just my entire family was so proud of me, and it was an amazing feeling. And I genuinely was like, I don't know if I had any more in me. I laid down on the field for like 10 minutes after the game. It was, oh my gosh, it was crazy. It was insane. But I'm so grateful for the opportunity I had to play this game. And of course, all glory to our Father in heaven, because without him, none of it would be possible.
You talk about graduating. What's next? What's next for you in your life?
Yeah, I'll be going on a mission right after high school in the summer, most likely. And I'm really excited to go and serve wherever I will serve. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity I will have.
Awesome. Chase, congratulations. 5A Most Unheralded, the best player you haven't heard about. Go check out What a Year for Chase Mosley. Over 3,000 yards passing, 32 touchdowns, getting Olympus back to a semi. Chase, congratulations on a great year.
Thank you. I was so mad I didn't get to be this one. Because Olympus themselves could be the most unheralded because of what happened going into the year. Chase Mosley, Dane, you had a chance to have the interview with him. Impressive what he was able to pull off.
Yeah, super impressive. And, I mean, not only do you have a coaching change late, it's a completely change of the offensive style. And, you want to talk about pressure that puts on a quarterback, immense pressure. And the thing I loved is that, I don't know how often people saw Olympus, but when you start watching tape on them, this kid can make every throw. They play Box Elder in the playoffs, and they jump on them, and it's a couple of long balls. And it's Chase Mosley reading that defense, dissecting, and getting that ball out. Very nimble as well, very athletic. What an impressive year from the Olympus signal caller. And when you line up his stats against other top quarterbacks, you'd be surprised at where he fits with them because he fits with them. Yeah. And that's the main reason. Well, it's a reason. There were a lot of reasons, but that's a significant reason of why Olympus got to Rice Eccles this year, a place they hadn't been for several years. I think 2018, I believe. Chase Mosley had a fantastic year. New offense really allowed him to show his skill set. This young man can throw the football and was fantastic for the Titans.
Now, make sure you understand the definition of most unheralded on our perspective is that someone who deserved more clout during the year than they deserved. Or than they got. Right. They deserved way more than that. Unheralded's like, man, we should have talked about them more. And Chase Mosley certainly fits right into that. All right, for our most unheralded players of the year, how about the most forgotten position in sports? The running backs. Let's go to our 5A running backs of the year. Look, Tavita Valetti. You can't talk about a running back in the state of Utah without Tavita Valetti.
Correct. This guy is like a bowling ball with legs. And the thing I love is, you want to talk physicality. He's got speed as well when he gets in the open field. And you also have to remember, this is a kid who's toting the rock 30 times a game. I don't know what the official number was, but it's always going to Tavita. They've got other guys. I don't mean to oversimplify that for Springville, but he's got a lion's share that he's got to carry for that Springville offense, and had another fantastic year for Springville, helping them, in their region in the playoffs as well. But Tavita Valetti, you watch him play. He's got a big offensive line to run behind, but man, this kid, he is your prototypical running back, right? If he plays 10, 20 years ago, this kid is Offensive Player of the Year and more, right?
Absolutely. And he's right up there with Mr. Football and everything else.
Yes.
Even when we got going, 2005, but been right there.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yep. But just spectacular. Tavita Valetti, congratulations on a spectacular year and career at Springville. Well, there's not just one, there's two. Do you think we're going to do a running back award without this kid coming on? Let's go to our next one. Dak Sumko of Box Elder. Here with our 2023 5A running back of the year, Dak Sumko of the Box Elder Bees. See, we cloak and dagger yet, man. So we want to talk about the season. But Dax, it's been announced not just year, but career for you. You've had some time to kind of reflect on it. When you think back your high school football career, and what's some of the stuff that goes to your mind?
Honestly, just the memories of high school football. I think, especially this last month, I've been able to kind of soak it all in that it's over. But it's been definitely like the memories, I think, is by far the best thing of high school football is the relationships, the amount of time spent with some of my best friends. And so just, memories for sure.
Dax, we've seen Box Elder. Covered you guys last year, game at Bountiful, and I didn't get a chance to do one of the games this year, but seeing highlights and how good that roster's been. Just kind of curious, when you think back on your buddies, right, and the culture, you talk about some of the memories there. What are maybe some of the things that you take away the most from your playing time the last couple of years at Box Elder?
I think when I think about my playing time and everything, I moved up to Box Elder when I was a freshman. I used to go to Weber, and so when I moved up there my sophomore year, I didn't expect to play a ton my sophomore year, and Coach Gunter was able to kind of let me in the system early. And so when I think about my playing time up there, I couldn't be more grateful for those guys in a sense. And I think that's ultimately the kind of the playing time was able to kind of get me into a leadership spot, if that makes sense. Because early on, it's hard for a sophomore to get in a program early, and so the fact that I was able to kind of get into a program early and play a lot, it was able to put me in a leadership spot early on, and not just be a senior leader, but rather a junior leader.
Would you rather have a go-ahead touchdown run or make a fourth down stop?
go ahead touchdown run. I think so. I think that's
Good
the
answer.
Yeah. I think that's gonna be a no-brainer for me.
Dex, I think we've seen you do a lot of different things on a football field. Between your physicality and your speed, I think if I recall correctly, over 4,000 career yards running the football for you in your time at Box Elder. What's the skill set, or what's the thing that you maybe pride your game on the most?
Just running the ball hard. I mean, that's kind of the emphasis of our offense. The Box Elder offense is run hard, but I've always found success in that since I was a little kid. Is run hard, because I grew up watching guys like Marshawn Lynch that just are so hard to tackle, and I would love to run guys like that. They're just hard to take down, get the extra tough yards, and being able to play fullback in a wing tee is like that's what you're supposed to do. And so I think just running the ball hard, and there's a lot that comes into preparation with that between lifting and off season stuff. But I think ultimately just running hard and trying to not get tackled by one guy.
It's kind of an interesting year for you, right? Because you graduate, but also it's the last year for Coach Gunner. How special does that add? A little more specialness of like, hey, it's a turning of an era at Box Elder in many ways, but also at the end of Coach Gunner, who'd done a great job. He was our Coach of the Year a year ago, and I only know him at two places. Right, when we came in, he was at Viewmont, and then he sneaks up to Box Elder and be a captain on that team and his last team. What's that like?
I think it was almost a blessing in a way. That kind of our last game, our Bonneville last game, our home game, we were able to have a big, celebration for him. And all these past players that had played for him came down. We had a little, kind of like celebration moment at the end. And it was awesome to see how many players have played for him, and how me and my group of, 50, 60 guys on our team is just this teeny fraction of it, and how many lives he's changed. And to kind of, be the last group to go out for him and have a good season that we did, I think it was a really cool experience to see him kind of, take in his last moment with all of us as well, and it was pretty sweet.
Box Elder, Brigham City feels like a rather unique community compared to a lot of places in the state of Utah. It's still within kind of an urban set. It's not too far out from that, but yet it's also I said there's one high school. It's a small community playing 5A football. What was it like, or what is it like to play football at Box Elder High School and really kind of carry that town of Brigham City?
It's honestly like something out of the movies. I think about it a lot because it's like you said, it's a smaller town, but we're still a 5A school, so we still got a lot of kids, and the community is very, very involved in not just football, but almost every sport. I would say, like our basketball games and other sports are wrestling's huge.
Better make sure you mention Box Elder wrestling.
Oh, for sure. And so the community is so invested in not just football, like I said, but all the other sports, and it's awesome to see, and especially this year where we have 7 straight road games with our field being put in. It was so cool to see this community so invested in us and always on our back, and wherever we go that they want to follow us and come support us on our away games. And ultimately I think, I may be biased, but I think it's the best community to play football in.
Yeah.
But
all right, let's make a quick pitch. What's next for Dax Sumco football wise?
Well, I'm going to serve a mission here at the end of this when I graduate. That's the plan, and then hopefully play college football somewhere. Right now, the plan is as of Weber State, but never know. Something could change. So
You like purple and black?
I'd stay purple.
Offer Dax Sumco. I can't tweet
please.
that or zeet that enough.
Please.
I got to make sure the lexicon stays right. Zeet that. Can't zeet it enough. But our 2023 5A running back of the year, Dax Sumco, Box Elder High School. We love this kid.
Yeah.
We pub this kid. And the main reason we do it, he doesn't beg for it. He doesn't ask for it. A lot of kids don't. But on the field, he drives it for us to be able to talk about him.
Yeah, we just talked about guys that have to carry a lion's share of the load. And look, Box Elder had high expectations this year. Injuries midway through the year, and it was like, all right, Dax, it's on you. And, a young man rushes for over 4,000 yards in his career, another 1,000-yard season this year. Man, you watch him play, and again, just like we saw with Valetti, it's a mix of the physicality and the speed. And even he said, look, I'm a fullback. It's my job to just run and run hard. And he understands that. Not afraid to shy away from contact. In fact, he'll finish through contact and keep on going. Extremely fun player to watch for Box Elder, and he's a main reason why Box Elder the last couple of years for Coach Gunther has gotten to what they've gotten to. 9-10 win seasons. It's because of guys like Dax Sumko, and what a career for Dax. Sad to see him obviously graduate.
Right.
It's a matter of time. It is for every player that walks through their respective hallways. But man, what a job getting Box Elder football back on the map to a competing level, competing for region titles. And Dax Sumko, fantastic career, but another great year at Box Elder.
And the other part, too, is that he could be Mr. Two-Way. What he does as a safety. The kid is really, really good and just willing to do whatever he's asked to do and do it at a high, high level.
Yeah.
But congratulations to Dax Sumko and Tavita Belletti, our 5A running backs. From running backs, let's go to the man on the sideline, the guy that gets all the boos, all the hate. He gets your signs in his yard. Not really. Let's go to our 5A Coach of the Year, Coach Donnie Atawaya of Timpview. Here with our 5A Coach of the Year, Coach Donnie Atawaya of the Timpview Thunderbirds.
Thank you.
Coach, he doesn't know that's why he's coming.
No, yeah.
We do cloak and dagger stuff to get you to show up to our final video of the football season. So, Coach, I mean, it's been a month. What's it been like to have that month after winning a state championship? And I mean, we talk about droughts, and there's lots of schools. I mean, I went to Carbon. We haven't won a state championship in 1955.
That's a drought.
That is a drought. But 10 years and 4 appearances, I mean, at Timpview feels like forever because it's a longer drought than the 97 to 04 drought that everyone talked about with Harvey Unga and Covey. So now that you're past the 10 years stuff, I mean, how's it felt the last month?
It's been awesome. It's been awesome, but we love that we can celebrate this, but also we know what's worked for this year, and so that's what we're excited about is just moving on and using what we know to work, and then and to try to push for next year.
Coach, I mean, Dusty talked about, there have even been recent playoff pushes, getting to a semifinal, getting to a state championship game, coming up just short. What was it about this year's group that was different? Was it that you were that close last year? Was there anything that got this group maybe over that hump?
Yeah, it's got to go back to the leadership. The leadership was on point this year, where I think when we were faced with a lot of challenges, I think we were able to lean on those guys as well, not only the adults on the field, but also those student athletes.
We talked about this after the game, but your team in the last couple of years have been the ultimate road warriors because you have not gotten to play on the hill. You've only gotten to practice there. You haven't gotten to play there with all the construction and stuff. That has to add, at least in my mind, I think it would add to how special this team is. You never get to play a road game. In fact, you don't even know which Provo High School you're going to play at, matter of fact. How special is this team?
It is special. I mean, when we talked about the different settings, it was just about the communication of our team and what our administration wanted to me, to the team. And so from that, there was a lot of open communication between players to coaches to administration, and backwards. So it was nice that we could use that even on the field.
What has it been like coaching at Timpview? Obviously a storied program, and obviously state championship. But what has it been like to be the head coach at Timpview? And just give us maybe a little peek behind the curtain of what that pressure or what that experience has been like.
Yeah, there was a lot of pressure, but also there's a lot of support. And like you mentioned, the two with Harvey and Covey, they were big time supporters of us this year. And so I loved it that the support from the community was unreal. It was unreal this year to see what they brought last year and then add on to what we had this year. I hope it's the trend.
Helaman Kasunga. I mean, obviously he's going to get a lot of the limelight. Quarterbacks get the limelight, especially in the state of Utah. Special young man, only a sophomore. Do you go to bed sleeping a little easier at night thinking, hey, he's got 2 more years?
Absolutely. And for him, the leadership for a person that young, it's been great, for us to focus on other things as well, with the relationships with him and the receivers and running backs and the offensive line. To see that from a young guy, yeah, it's been a lot easier for us.
Do you ever tell your guys that, hey, I played at Alabama at Bryant-Denny Stadium before it was Bryant-Denny Stadium?
Yes. Yeah. No,
That it was under construction.
Yes. Yeah, I mean these kids. It's been a long time, and so these kids have to like go back. I don't know if you know if those games are on.
BYUTV.org. There's
Okay.
special plug.
There you go.
I watch it. I mean, I'm a judge.
You can only use that. When I was playing the game, you only can use that so much. These kids will be like, "Oh, I don't remember," or "My parents don't remember." But yeah.
Awesome. Well, Coach, congratulations, and so excited for you. Happy for the success you've had. And Donnie Atawaya, our 5A Coach of the Year.
Thank you.
I love Donnie. He always has a smile on his face.
Yeah.
He comes walking up the doors here. As soon as he sees us, he gets a big smile. You see him kind of sit back and relax. I love the demeanor and everything that Donnie Atawaya brings with him.
It's amazing because we talk about Timview, 10 plus years without a state championship, 0-4 in championship games since that last one. And I mean, he just walks in here and almost like he doesn't feel it. Right. And we asked him, what's it like? Oh, there's a lot of pressure there, but there's great support too. And, you want to talk about a guy who knows how to get his troops ready. They get to a state championship game last year. They fall just short in overtime. They get back this year and they figure out a way to take care of business despite having two really tough games at Rice Eccles, right? Olympus fought them hard. Then you got to go and deal with a Bountiful team that has all the momentum in the world, and Bountiful pushes them hard. And yet, whether it's that demeanor, his style, players, I mean, there's a lot of factors, but able to find a way to help lift his team to get to a place that they haven't been to in a long time. And that program has had coaches that have been that close, haven't quite been able to get there. And Donnie this year was able to get it done. Fantastic year for Timview and for Donnie Atawaya.
Yeah, absolutely. It's terrific. And you see what he brings to a program, what he wants. And I got to tell you, one of the biggest things he did is he actually got those students involved with the football team.
Yeah.
That's a great job by the administration, but also by him. Hey, we got to find a way to get this. That is the largest student section in the history of Timview football in our 19 years of covering high school sports.
We used to joke about Timview student sections. They showed up. And imagine doing that without having home games. I love that you brought that up with him, right? The ultimate road warriors.
Yeah.
Because stadium's not done. So
stadium's done, but the parking lot's all torn up because of the school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unusable, right?
Yep.
So you build that and that camaraderie with your students when you can't just say show up to the high school on Friday night.
Yeah.
That's a tough task to do. And it obviously paid dividends for them. But awesome to see that support of Timview. Keep it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
T-Birds, right?
Shouldn't be a one-year thing.
Yeah.
Keep this thing going. It should be something now gets passed down in the next class to the next class and start seeing, because at Timview, they're going to be at the sites.
Yep.
No matter the sport, they're going to be there. Just spectacular. But Coach Donnie Atawaya, our 5A Coach of the Year. Crazy to think that football's over.
Yeah.
5A, I mean, there's so many kids. I think when we get done with the awards, the thing, one we enjoy the most is actually getting to talk to the kids, meet the parents, meet the coaches, and get a chance to, we spread these out throughout the day. Really enjoyable, so we can just have some one-on-one time with those who want to be around. But the thing that's hard at the end are the ones that don't get an award because we do sit here all day.
Yeah.
But it's hard to go through it. But there's a lot of those kids and coaches that deserve to be on the part of the award show as well.
There are. And, it's always hard to wrap up the football season. And to your point, Dusty, I mean, there's a lot of kids that we could have talked about.
Luke Bryant.
Luke Bryant's a great example. You talk about a guy like Jack Johnson, multiple-year starter at Brighton, right? I
called them the Alto Twins, the two defensive linemen, Tuakoi and I can't remember the other one that had the combined, we believe, 37 sacks.
Yeah.
Right? They get you on there.
Yeah. You can even look at Banks Jackson and Maple Mountain as an unheralded. There's so many guys, but due to timing and it's just hard to get them all. And it's awesome to see the storylines that we get to cover over the course of a year. See individuals that help lift their teams to new heights or, to region championships or run in the state playoffs. And always hard that we can't recognize all of that. But we try to cover that as much as we can over the course of the year. It's been a great pleasure to wrap up another football season here on KSL Sports Rewind. I want to thank you for all tuning in every week and following us and all the insight you help to provide for us so we can cover this state as best as we can. But, just such an impressive year. We said 5A was going to be wide open. And, you have Olympus and Bountiful to get to a semifinal and Bountiful to a state championship.
And Alta back for the first time in how many years? 2016.
It was wide open. What a fun year it was in 5A. And, hey, sign me up again for next year, right?
Absolutely.
Can't wait for seeing what 5A has in store in 24.
Well, look out for other interviews we have coming up and our basketball coverage and everything else. But this is a it wraps up the football season.
Yeah.
Breaks my heart every single year, and but it's just an absolute pleasure. We want to thank all the kids and their parents who made it out. I want to thank, as you mentioned, the fans who help us get we can't cover the state without people who are willing to share information with us, because there aren't sports information directors at these schools. We have to do a lot of legwork to make this work, and just an absolute blast. But for Vince Francis and Dane Stewart, I'm Dusty Litster. Thanks for joining us and for watching the KSL Sports Rewind Football Award Show on KSLSports.com.